Thank you, Rick Starr. I have the amazing and unique privilege of speaking with Mike Eruzione, the person that answered that question, said he plays for the USA. That resulted in that jersey being signed by that entire team all over the world, and jerseys like it, because they won the Miracle on Ice and created the biggest sports upset in the history of organized sport. And that's what was at stake. So what that also represents to me, as we look at a nation that has um, certainly is present to levels of division, which I think are less prominent than we would otherwise be mistaken on the edges of that dynamic, but still present. And in that, why that occurred that night and why Herb Brooks was continuously uh, asking the question, who do you play for, is a theme throughout the early part of the movie. And who do you play for is because when they'd answer that question previously, they would say their college. I played for the U. Um, right, University of Minnesota, or I played for Boston, and University of Minnesota and Boston had this immense rivalry. They couldn't stand each other. And there was a number of players from both of those teams that were brought together by Herb Brooks and that Olympic team to create what would become the Miracle. And so his desire to integrate these people who fought for like early days of practice, there was cheap shots, all these things, grudges, like hatred was present, disdain, resentment, all of it was there. And over time, and that night was the breaking down of that entire process that created unity through an intense, exhausting shared experience, another shared experience. So it's also interesting that the greatest times of national unity are typically, or certainly in the United States, was right after World War II, during and after. So does it really take a world war that takes the lives of so many, or does it really take a night like that with Herb Brooks, which is a true story of him blowing the whistle and saying again, again, and his assistant coach looking at him and going, I can't do this. This guy's out of his mind. And the team doctor at one point during that clip goes, Herb, this is madness. The rink was trying to shut down. They were getting kicked out. They were in Europe playing. They weren't even on their home soil. They didn't own the rink. And he was committed singularly to an outcome, which was disrupting what was present for them, reframing their mindset and creating immense unity. And they were going to be doing that until somebody finally figured it out, which is Mike Eruzione, and why he eventually became captain of the greatest sports upset in history. And we've seen the video where he's on the podium and waves everybody else up. And it was the most people that have ever been collectively together on an Olympic podium, was when, because like nobody else could possibly fit. And there's always very heart-centered stories about it's impossible to fit that many human beings on a podium that size, but yet they did because of the level of unity that was created. So like that moment stands for that. And as we go into the inauguration tomorrow, I am present to that belief. You can be present to what you want. I offer you the possibility. I offer you the possibility that the greatest thing that we could all be present to tomorrow is unity and a commitment to make America better, a commitment to make this country more united. And that's not a left statement or a right statement. That's a statement like Herb Brooks said, I don't really care what happened. I don't care what happened. I care what happens from here. I care what happens from here. And that's what it's about. So that's the macro. On the micro, the question is, what if you acquired your heart and mind today? What if you did? What would you think of Herb Brooks? What would you think if you had the opportunity to coach that team? What would your leadership have stood for and caused in that moment? Do you watch that and have disdain? Do you think that there was another way? Maybe there was, right? Just curious. Like, so maybe you could drop it in the chat. What do you think about his approach to coaching that team with that level of intensity, knowing that they also said in the movie that is not how Herb Brooks coached predominantly at the University of Minnesota? And some people are like, why is he doing this? And the assessment in his master coaching decision was that was what was necessary to bring this team together in the time frame he had to achieve the outcome of making it to the medal rounds of the Olympics, and eventually, even because his real outcome was to beat the Soviets, the unbeatable Soviets, right? So what do you think of that? What would you have done if you were a player on that team? What would you have done if you were a player? Like, how committed are you to your outcomes, your dreams, your mission, your vision? He wasn't asking anybody there to do anything that was immoral, dishonest. He was asking them to commit all of themselves to a higher purpose at the highest level. So you as a player, how would you have handled your own self-mastery, your openness to learning, growth, and development if you were on that team? I ask you this. We often talk about, hey, what if you acquired, or sometimes talk about, and we're going to be leaning in a lot into this as we roll through this first quarter of 2021, creating massive acceleration in your money, your time, and your magic. And what I'm present to is the idea of acquiring your business. Hey, what if you acquired your business today? We've said that, and we're going to lean into that some more in the upcoming days and weeks. For today, though, the question is, what if you acquired your heart and your mind today? Tony Robbins stands up in front of rooms full of people and says, I created this. I created Tony Robbins. I created this person through intentionality of making decisions about what his heart and his mind is. Herb Brooks created that version of Herb Brooks to serve an outcome millions of times larger than himself. And in the beginning, he didn't even know that was what was at stake. What was at stake for him initially was simply having that team perform at the highest level imaginable with a very specific focused outcome of beating the Soviets. And by the way, hey guys, on Clubhouse, we're going to move over there at 9 a.m. and we're going to do a fire round of what if you acquired your heart and mind today? What would you want to be committing to? And we're going to bring people up for 30 to 60 seconds, like boom, 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 repeatedly throwing a flag in the ground. And what if you acquired your heart, your mind today? Because you can. It's a choice. You can acquire your heart, your mind, your nervous system today, literally. And what would you create it to be and why? What would you believe? What would you believe about your own capacity to create things? What would you believe about your self-mastery, your ability to create specific outcomes today? What would you agree? What would you commit to believing, to being in your mind, your heart, to control your nervous system around your fear of failure and rejection? What would you stand for in the world as it relates to your money? What would you choose to believe about your money? What would you choose to believe about people? What would you choose to believe about love? What would you choose to believe about stepping into other people's frames? What would you choose to believe about the need for validation and agreement from people around you who don't see what you see and don't understand what you understand? These are all your choices. They're not your friends' choices. They're not your parents' choices. They're not your children's choices. They're not your siblings' choices. They're not Unblinded choices. They're certainly not my choices. They're your choices, and only your choices. You acquired your heart and your mind today. Adam Gugino, and we'll go through a little bit of a pre-fire round here. You acquired your heart and your mind today. Today. Nothing has ever happened in your life. You're making all of the decisions about what do you believe. What do you choose to believe about rejection? What do you choose to believe about rejection?
I would choose to believe that there is no impact for somebody saying no and in my nervous system whatsoever.
Yeah. And how about this, Adam? Let's reframe it and deliver it like I believe with certainty and Zeus energy, like stepping into yourself, like I believe. What do you believe?
I believe there is no impact, negative impact on my nervous system when somebody says no to something I believe is in their best interest.
Awesome. Fernando, what do you believe? You really newly acquired your brain, and you have an understanding that there's a world out there and there's an amazing diversity of people and thought. Like you know that, but you're brand new and you could literally wire your brain and your heart any way that you want. What do you choose to believe? What do you choose to believe about people and feel about people? What do you choose to believe about people and feel about people? Fernando.
What I choose to believe and see about people is that everything that a human does is an act, is an act, it's a cry for help. I believe that all humans do and all humans feel. And I believe that rejection, there is no rejection. And I believe that the only rejection that is really real is a rejection you cause within yourself. Because every time rejection is present is an opportunity to integrally influence and help people see what they're not seeing about you, themselves, the situation, or the world at large. And I believe that human beings are naturally beautiful and empathetic, and we're conditioned not to be our true selves. And as I say that out loud, I think about our morning huddle, and I think about the power of vulnerability. And I think about the reality of why vulnerability is so attractive is because we all have the desire to be kids again. We all have the desire to be innocent. We all have the desire to, and we're all attracted to those that can create that space for themselves, for others, and for everyone around them. And I believe that human beings naturally crave to be together, and that we, through integrity-based leaders, have the superpower to make that happen, because we are designed to be in community. We are designed to love each other, and we're designed to stand together. That is the way that we were designed. And we are perfectly imperfect in our ability to do so. And yet we strive for it. And there is no human that ever bashes another human for failing. On the contrary, failure is also attractive because it shows us that we have the opportunity to fail ourselves. And then when we see failure happen, we realize that we don't judge others for failure, and yet we judge ourselves when we do. And with that, I will pause.
Awesome job, Fernando. Let's go. Do we have Bella, Diana, Lorelei? Let's get all these fine folks unmuted. Gina, Nicole. Let's have everybody live. Fernando, who we got out of that group next? Or anybody else that wants to raise their hand and come forward.
Diana is here. Just need her to unmute. So Diana, we'll kick it to you.
Hey, family. Sean, good morning on this beautiful day.
Hey, Diana, good morning on this beautiful day. So you have today is your first day with your heart and mind, and you're recreating it, you're rewiring it. Diana, what do you believe about money, and what do you feel about money?
I believe that money is an incredible source of contribution and a force for good in the world. So I believe that I can make money as fast and easily as I can breathe, because money is energy. And it all depends on what do I do with it. So I believe that money is up for joy, fun, contribution, growth. And I just can't wait to learn how to make it in an easier way so I can then teach it to everybody, so everybody can become financially free by the age of 50, 55, however you want to be, young, my kids. Generational financial freedom is what I want to do with money. Learn it, teach it, save it, invest it, and make a huge contribution to the world. So when I leave this world, my legacy would be, she taught me how to free my time by making lots of money, improving the lives of everybody that she met.
Amazing. So two things. How do you feel about money? How do you feel? How do you choose? You just acquired your nervous system. You just acquired your brain. How do you choose today to feel about money? Condition it into your system. How you feel about it?
I feel excited. I mean, if you asked me this question maybe 3 months ago, I'm going to be super candid right now. Before I joined Unblinded, I had limiting beliefs around money. I had generational trauma around money. I grew up in tremendous struggle and poverty. My mom had to buy food by the handful. If I go there, I can cry. But what happened through me, through my nervous system, as I joined Unblinded and I learned from you and everybody in the movement, is that now money represents excitement to learn how to simplify it, how to attract it, how to make it, how to teach others how to do it. So it really changed in my nervous system. I learned something about it. I'm still learning about it, but the way that it feels is completely different. It feels like an opportunity for growth.
Okay, so you feel excited about money. How do you feel about possessing money now? How do you feel about possessing money now? More money now, building right now.
I feel, this is what I want to do. It's almost as if you asked me, how do you feel about joining the Olympic ice miracle on ice team? I said, heck yeah. Is it scary? Sure. Do I know how to do it? not quite, but am I excited about it? Do I feel yeah with every cell of my being? Yeah.
All right, so that's amazing. So let's lean in for a second in a micro distinction, because there's a belief there. We heard it twice from Diana. There's a belief, I don't quite know how to do it yet, and I'm looking to find an easier way. So here's what I'm going to share with you from my heart. I'm going to offer you the belief. Here's what I believe. I could make, now here's my limiting beliefs come up at a certain level, right? My belief is that in any new venture that I would create, within 6 months, I could personally be making $100,000 a month from that venture. But $100,000 a month isn't $1 million a month. So it's still a number, and it's still all made up. So if I'm choosing to create a belief, what I'm going to choose to believe, if I choose to generate money or to raise money for charity like the AFB, if I choose to, and I am focused, I could generate $1 million a month. I could generate $10 million a month. I could generate $100 million a month if I choose to, and I focus on it. That's what I believe. And that I believe that that can be accomplished simply, easily, through the prism of the formula. I believe that. I believe that. Limiting beliefs I have, we won't step into limiting beliefs for today. So, because we're reconditioning, I don't have them. I'm reconditioning my mind. I'm gonna decide what beliefs I accept, what beliefs I don't accept. I'm gonna decide my heart and my mind today. This is leading up to the 60-day Unblinded challenge, which is coming, and our virtual event is going to be in the middle of it, towards the beginning, but still, after it gets going a little bit. The outcome is going to be tremendous acceleration on money, time, and magic. And this is going to be offered to the folks that are here and present to lean into everything that we're doing. Everything that we're doing. And the mission is not, NOT, not going to be for anybody here to bring people into that challenge. It's a different kind of challenge. It's a challenge for you. It's a challenge because you're here and Blinded, you're here in this program. Our virtual event is not going to be open to anybody else. It's not a generator of new people. It's to actualize at the highest levels for you. It is immersive. It is get on the line. It is again. It is again. It is again. For you to break through whatever you believe, like Micah Ruzioni had to, like all the players on that team, like Craig, I forget his first name, the goalkeeper, his last name is Craig, Jim Craig, the goalkeeper. When Jim Craig had to break through and believe about himself, we're going to create these breakthroughs together. And it's for you now to step into your greatness. You don't need to learn an easier way, Diana. If you want to make more money today, call up 25 medium-sized professional services firms today, right? Without screwing up your time, or X number, each day over the next 2 weeks, and lean in and get better and better and better, have a conversation with them about beginning training programs. And then instead of selling our elite program, which is with respect and complete love, wildly underpriced, and let's lean in and start selling programs like those for 6 figures. And even maybe before a week or two or a month is up, a 7-figure program. Like, what would it look like, Diana, if all you did is sell 7-figure programs? Do you think that would change your economics rapidly?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. And sorry, Sean, I just had a breakthrough, so I want to share this. I was looking already at the future for myself, knowing how much easier it could be if I have 3 Dianas making phone calls. Okay, so so this is my confession. I am obsessed with growth and mastery. I taught myself music in an instrument that I'd never played before. I play different things that I taught myself how to get better at. So as I master the formula, I'm always teaching myself how to get better at this. So of course, when I say I want to make it easier, what I mean is that I would make it way faster if I had a team working with me, which I'm building. And at the same time, I do believe, and I know this is true, I can make it right now. I am making it right now. I am making phone calls right now for myself and for Unblinded, can represent $1 million growth in this year. So yes, that belief is there. I'm just always looking for less friction, easier. I know there's room for grow, learn,
Ready?
day
So,
to day.
so
Yeah.
here's a great point about scaling. Here's a great point about scaling. Okay. Do you think it's faster and more efficient to have 3 people working for you making phone calls if the outcome, now Unblinded's outcome, watch this for everybody. Unblinded's outcome is not, NOT, not to make money. That is not my outcome, right? I don't need to make money. Adam and Fernando are in a different position, so we need to at least make a certain amount of money, right? To have them see their future in this just on a pure survival level, right, in existence. Diana, you need to make money. Is that fair?
Fair and true.
So your mindset for the building and growth of Unblinded, what you would choose to believe, right? Your mindset is different from my mindset, and that's totally aligned because I have a need and you have a need. And I have a bunch of stuff, and we have a bunch of stuff here at Unblinded that's going to fill your need. And by filling your need, you're going to fill our need, right? So instead of, right, wildly, randomly, and you're not doing that at all, looking, and by the way, I am on Clubhouse, but instead of wildly, randomly looking on Clubhouse, when I had to make money, I wasn't randomly going to networking events. When I needed to make money, I said, bang, where's the work? I'm going to get the work. My belief was I could make money now, because I went through those exercises from the geniuses in that space and learned from them, including when I went to coaching school, because that supported me in limiting belief structures as well and brought that present. And so I was like, yes, I will make money now. I will make money now. I will make money now, right? And that bang, I always made money now. I always made money now. I always made money now. So your belief structure about everything to do with money and people is what is limiting. So if Diana's like, tomorrow, soon, I'll figure it out, that is a destructive belief frame for Diana making money today, next week, next month, this quarter. Because there's no defined when it gets easier, when it's in here tomorrow. So now, because there is no tomorrow, there's only today. Literally, there's only today. And that doesn't mean like do crazy things and destroy your life, but it means there's only literally this moment. Only literally this moment. And in this moment, Diana, and all of you, you get to choose your mind and your heart. And yes, I was galvanized by Clubhouse challenges of drinking water and things and 75 hard. These are fine things. There's nothing wrong with them. But I'm like, this is incomplete, just like the world of personal development. And I don't want to use this. We don't want to use this as a lever to grow. Like maybe we could, but let's focus on here. The people, the Spartan warriors of Unblinded, the people who have chosen to say yes, to buy in, to accelerate. And let's become present to doing what I do at the core level. I'm like, what aren't we doing that I do? What aren't we doing that I do? What aren't we doing that I do? Yes, make money now. Make money today. Shift your mindset, shift your heart in love. Because you can still love people. To make money today, you can defraud people. You can go rob a bank. But if your heart is committed to, I'm going to make money today by giving more value than I receive, and I know the value I can give is in direct proportion to the value that that person needs. So if Diana went to, let's say, a hedge fund that makes billions of dollars per year, and through the formula, we could teach 7 people that work there how to make an extra 10 million each this year, because that's the size of the game they're playing. That's the size of the game they're playing. They're each making 50 million. Do you think that they might be interested in doing what some people do with Tony Robbins and paying $1 million a year for coaching? They're not paying $1 million a year for coaching because they're starting out as a new coach. They're paying $1 million a year for coaching because they make a ton of money and a couple levers are pulled and they're going to make an extra 10 million, 50 million and create massively new value. Diana, what is present for you as I share this?
I love it. I am present to the opportunities for everybody, wherever we are in the spectrum, to take this to heart and dropping into my heart right now, really noticing that is those moment by moment choices that we make of what we choose to believe that make the biggest difference in the outcome of the day. So I see that um, there's always so many micro distinctions here that can unfold into massive action. What I choose to do with this conversation right now is to decide moment by moment that as I was born today and I just acquired my heart and my brain, I choose to believe that I make money now, that I make loving connections now, that I influence people from my heart, because that's the biggest value that I have, my fun energy, my heart, and that transforms into money as I give value and as I see them believing in themselves and believing that they can also choose their hearts today.
All right. So awesome, Diana. So for everybody, do not step into the tyranny of how, as Tony Robbins says, it's a tyranny of how. That's not the question. The simple question is, if you acquired your heart and your mind today, what would you choose to believe and install into your heart and your mind? What would you choose to feel? What would you choose to believe? Installing it today in service of your money, your time, your magic. Like you just had it given to you, and you can condition anything in like a computer program. What do you want to condition in? And Diana said one word, said, regardless of where we are, depending on where we are, nope, that's a presupposition that is false in this equation. There's a presupposition, that's a fact, a condition that's not a part of the question. It is not a part of the frame. You are not anything to date. I am not anything to date except what we choose to install in our brain, in our heart today. It's your choice. I ain't telling you what to choose. I'm only telling you that you have the power to choose in alignment with your money, your time, and your magic. All three. What do you want to choose? What do you want to create and cause in your brain and your heart in service of your money, time, and magic? You have acquired it today. Today. Fernando, final, and we're going to bounce over to Clubhouse.
I feel like this morning alone, we filmed, and we haven't even done it for this reason. We've created collectively some of the best modules of content Unblinded has. Diana, thank you for standing and sharing. Annie, thank you for your leadership in the chat. Sean, thank you for constantly leaning into the reality and displaying the superhuman power of self-mastery, and which is a subject that we, touch on indirectly. And today we did a solid treatment, and I'm looking forward to driving this over to Clubhouse and continuing the momentum that we had yesterday with Chris Crone and his beautiful power of limitless and breakthrough, and continuing to drive this technology forward, as this is foundational to your influence and process master.
And if you missed it, like Fernando, by the way, you said you created first, then you corrected and said we. It is we. You dropped the mic, brother, in what you stood for, and it was absolutely fantastic. The work you're doing is extraordinary. Your self-mastery continues to rise, and keep leaning in and being open and sharing your heart and the reality of all of it. Amazing job. Diana, on fire. Yes, Chris Crone was extraordinary last night. 23,000 people signed up for the event that he just did. I don't know what the attendance number was, but 23,000 people signed up, and Chris never